to the moon. The cat purred happily. Yes, together we can do anything. So they collected wood, metal, and shiny parts from the village. Day and night they worked hard. Finally, the rocket was ready. 3, 2, 1, blast off! The rocket zoomed into the sky, and soon the bunny and cat landed on the moon. They ran and hopped around joyfully, leaving little paw prints on the soft moon dust. Looking at Earth from above, Bunny said, "Dreams come true when friends work together." They came back as heroes, and everyone in the meadow cheered for their courage and friendship. Moral? With teamwork and friendship, even the biggest dreams can come true. Once upon a time, there was a hidden garden that only appeared under the silver glow of the full moon. This garden was unlike any other. Its flowers glowed softly, streams sparkled like stars, and thousands of colorful butterflies filled the air. But these butterflies were no ordinary creatures. They had a magical gift. Each butterfly carried a dream. Whoever touched one with a pure heart could have their deepest wish come true. One night, a little girl named Arya wandered into the enchanted garden. She was sad because her father was very ill, and all she wished for was his health. A bright blue butterfly landed gently on her hand, its wings shining like sapphire. Arya closed her eyes and whispered her wish. The butterfly lifted into the night sky, glowing brighter and brighter until it disappeared among the stars. The next morning, when Arya woke up, her father was smiling, healthy, and strong again. She ran back to the garden, but it had vanished. Still, she knew the butterflies would return one day, whenever a pure heart needed them most. And so, the legend spread. In the garden of dreaming butterflies, even the impossible becomes possible. In a quiet village lived a boy who longed for a magical friend. One day, while exploring the forest, he discovered a glowing egg. Curious and excited, he brought it home and cared for it with love. Soon, the egg cracked and a tiny dragon appeared. With shining, colorful scales and gentle eyes, the dragon captured the boy's heart. They quickly became inseparable, playing, eating, and growing together. As the dragon grew larger, he spread his great wings and lifted the boy onto his back. Together, they soared high above rivers, forests, and mountains. One day, they reached a hidden valley filled with dragons. The boy watched in awe as his dragon joyfully played among his own kind. After the visit, the dragon flew him back home. From that day on, the boy knew he had found not just a friend, but the greatest gift of his life.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful unicorn named Luma, who always dreamed of exploring the world and making new friends. One bright morning, Luma woke up full of excitement and decided to set out on her adventure. As she trotted along the forest path, she came across a huge magical tree that could talk. The tree was very old and wise, and it shared with her enchanting stories of magic from the past. Thanking the tree, Luma continued her journey. Soon, she reached a sparkling river with crystal clear water. She stepped into the cool stream to take a bath, but to her surprise, the river spoke to her. "My precious pearl is lost. Will you help me find it?" Luma happily agreed and searched carefully until she found the pearl hidden beneath smooth pebbles. Grateful, the river guided her toward a land of wonders, a place where magical animals and birds lived. When she arrived, all the magical creatures welcomed her warmly. They admired her kindness and made her the guardian of the magical land. Luma spent the day with her new friends, her heart full of joy. After fulfilling her dream, she returned home, carrying memories of friendship, kindness, and magical adventures that would stay in her heart forever.
During winter holidays, a family went to the snowy mountains for the very first time. White, sparkling snow covered everything, and the children jumped with joy. The little boy shouted, "Wow! This looks like magic!" The boy and girl ran around with their parents laughing. Soon, the child gathered some snow in his hands, shaped it into a ball, and threw it playfully at his sister. She laughed loudly and threw one back. Soon, a fun snowball fight began between them. Laughter and happiness echoed through the mountains. Their parents smiled, watching their children's innocent joy. That day, the children not only saw snow for the first time, but also created one of the most beautiful memories of their lives. Snowflake.
In a small town called Greenwood Town lived a smart, quick, and adorable rabbit named Inspector Ruby. Every day, from morning till night, Ruby protected the town in her police uniform. Her ears were long, her eyes sparkled, and her heart was pure and kind. On the other side of the town lived Pharaoh, a red fox known for his tricks and sneaky habits. People said that Pharaoh was always plotting some kind of clever scheme. One day, news spread through the town that the mayor's pink gemstone had been stolen. Inspector Ruby immediately took the case into her hands. Everyone was saying, "This must be Pharaoh's doing." Ruby thought, "I'll collect the evidence before making any judgment." She followed Pharaoh, but instead of catching him in the act of theft, she found him in the middle of the forest, caring for a small sick bird. Ruby was surprised. This doesn't seem like the work of a thief. Just then, a voice cried out, "Help! Help!" The gemstone was in the hands of a mischievous raccoon who was running deep into the dark part of the forest. Ruby ran after him, but the raccoon was so fast that she couldn't catch him alone. At that moment, Pharaoh said, "I can take the shortcut. You block him from the front." Working together, they surrounded the raccoon and safely recovered the gemstone. The mayor praised both Ruby and Pharaoh. From that day on, Ruby realized that not every fox is a thief, and Pharaoh learned that a police rabbit could be a true friend. In the end, they became friends and formed a team in Greenwood Town, ready for new adventures ahead.
A bear and a rabbit are walking through the woods when they come across a golden frog. They think this is an amazing discovery, and they are even more amazed when it talks to them. The golden frog admits that he is a magical frog and doesn't often meet other residents of the forest. But when he does, he grants them 3 wishes each. The bear immediately asks that all the other bears in the forest be female. The frog immediately grants this wish. The rabbit, after thinking for a while, asks for a crash helmet and one appears, which he places on his head. The bear is amazed at this but carries on with his next wish. He asks that all the bears in the neighboring forests be female as well. This wish is also fulfilled. The rabbit then wishes that he could have a motorcycle. It appears before him, and he climbs on board and starts revving the engine. The bear cannot believe it. He remarks to the rabbit that he has wasted 2 wishes. Then, shaking his head, he makes his final wish. "I wish that all the other bears in the world be female as well." The frog replies that it has been done, and they both turn to the rabbit for his last wish. The rabbit thinks for a second, then revs up the engine and says, "I wish for the bear to be die single," and promptly drives off as fast as he can. This is the story of a little girl who, one night, is fast asleep when she dreams that in her grandfather's room, inside an old wooden cupboard, there is a mysterious magical book. The book's cover is decorated with golden patterns that seem to shimmer in the dark, and a faint glow leaks from its edges. She opens it carefully, and in that very moment, a swirling portal appears, turning into a tall, glowing door. Curious and excited, she steps through the door and finds herself in an enchanting world. The air is filled with the sweet scent of flowers, and a soft golden light bathes the land. Fairies with delicate, shimmering wings float gracefully in the air, their laughter like gentle chimes. Stars sparkle above her, even though it feels like daytime, and tiny clouds drift lazily around crystal blue waterfalls. Animals and birds roam freely. Rabbits wearing flower crowns, deer with antlers wrapped in glowing vines, and colorful parrots singing magical tunes. The little girl runs towards them, her heart full of joy, and starts playing happily with her new friends. They chase each other through fields of rainbow-colored grass, toss petals into the air, and splash in sparkling streams. Time seems to disappear in this world of wonder, but suddenly, a warm voice calls her name. It's her mother, waking her up for school. The magical world fades, and she opens her eyes to find herself back in her bed. She sits up, feeling a little disappointed, and gets ready for school, quietly thinking to herself, I wish I could have played a little longer. In a peaceful mountain village surrounded by lush green hills and tall bamboo forests. Tiger, a cheerful young boy in simple kung fu clothes, and Bull, a strong, gentle bull with kind eyes, are best friends since childhood, always eating, playing, and exploring together. Their mentor, a wise, muscular tiger master wearing traditional kung fu robes, trains them daily in martial arts under the golden morning sun. One day, with the tiger master away, Leopard and Bull practice kung fu in the open courtyard. A small playful mistake turns into a heated argument. They begin fighting in exaggerated cartoon style, lifting, pushing, tossing each other in the dust. Suddenly, the tiger master returns, shocked and angry, his eyes fierce. He scolds them for forgetting friendship and punishes them to stand in the hot sun all day without water. Sweat drips down as the heat waves rise, and the two friends feel regret. By sunset, they apologize to the Tiger Master and to each other. The Tiger Master smiles warmly and forgives them. The final scene shows Tiger and Bull hugging happily, the golden sunset behind them, and the Tiger Master watching proudly, with the words glowing on screen, "True friendship is stronger than any fight."
One day, a boy and a girl went to the park with their parents. The park was full of greenery, blooming flowers, and singing birds. The boy said, "Mama, I want to sit on the swing." The girl laughed and said, "Me too, me too." Their parents lovingly placed them on the swing and gently pushed them. The children laughed with joy, and the park filled with happiness. Their parents smiled, watching them play. That day, they all learned that the smallest family moments bring the biggest happiness. One day, a little boy was playing in the street when he suddenly found a shiny ring lying on the ground. It wasn't an ordinary ring. Strange symbols were carved on it. As soon as the boy wore the ring, everything changed. The wind began to blow, light spread everywhere, and he realized he now had magical powers. He discovered that he could talk to animals, move objects, and light up dark places. At first, the boy was scared, but then he decided to use his powers only for good deeds. One day, a fire broke out in the village. Everyone was worried and helpless. The boy stepped forward, raised his hand, and with the power of the ring, he summoned clouds and rain began to fall. The villagers were amazed and clapped with joy. The boy became a hero, but he kept the secret of the magic ring hidden from everyone. In the end, the boy whispered to himself, "True power is the one that is used to help others."
Once upon a time, there was a brave treasure hunter who loved exploring dangerous places in search of gold and jewels. One day, he heard a legend about a hidden treasure buried deep in the mountains. Determined, he packed his tools, food, and courage and set off on his journey. After days of climbing steep cliffs and crossing icy rivers, he finally reached the secret cave at the top of a tall mountain. Inside, he saw piles of gold, glittering gems, and ancient crowns. His heart raced as he filled his bags with the treasure. But suddenly, the ground shook. From above, a massive fire-breathing dragon appeared, the guardian of the treasure. The dragon roared so loudly that the cave walls trembled. The treasure hunter realized he could never defeat the beast. Thinking quickly, he dropped the heavy treasure bag and ran for his life. The dragon chased him all the way to the edge of the mountain, but stopped there, guarding its gold. The treasure hunter escaped with his life,
grateful for his bravery and the lesson he learned. Life is more precious than gold.
One day, all the animals in the jungle decided to have their own fashion show. The monkey invited everyone and said, "Today on the jungle ramp, we will all show our beauty." The parrot grabbed the mic and announced in its colorful voice, "Welcome to the Jungle Modeling Show." The zebra walked first, showing off its natural black and white stripes. Everyone clapped loudly. The giraffe lifted its long neck high and walked with style, making the crowd cheer with amazement. The lion sat on the judge's chair and gave a mighty roar while clapping. The elephant made the grand finale entry on the ramp, showering flowers with its trunk and ending the show with a bang. All the animals laughed, clapped, and said, "Our jungle show is the best of all."
Once upon a time, deep in a sunlit jungle, a little kangaroo baby named Kiki bounced happily among the tall trees. The gentle breeze carried the sweet scent of flowers as colorful butterflies danced all around her. One bright blue butterfly fluttered close and landed softly on Kiki's nose. Kiki giggled and gently reached out her tiny paws, trying to play with the butterfly. The butterfly twirled in the air, inviting Kiki to follow. Together, they hopped and fluttered through the jungle, with Kiki's laughter echoing like music. Suddenly, a group of cheerful birds joined them, singing beautiful songs from the treetops. The birds swooped down and played tag with Kiki and the butterfly. The jungle was alive with joy and friendship, as the little kangaroo baby found magic in every flutter and chirp. As the sun began to set, Kiki curled up in a cozy nook, tired but happy, dreaming of her next adventure with her new friends, the butterflies and birds of the jungle.
In the heart of the jungle, where sunlight barely touches the ground, a dangerous cobra slithers silently through the grass. Its hood rises, tongue flickers, and it rules the forest floor with fear. But from the shadows emerges a brave mongoose, small in size but fearless in spirit. Known as the snake's greatest rival, the mongoose is fast, clever, and ready for battle. The two lock eyes. The jungle falls silent. The fight begins. The cobra strikes with deadly speed, fangs flashing, but the mongoose is quicker. It dodges, counters, and keeps attacking, never letting fear take over. The fight grows more intense. Dust rises, claws scratch, fangs bite, and nature holds its breath. Finally, with one powerful leap, the mongoose lands on the cobra's head and delivers the final blow. The snake collapses, defeated. The mongoose stands tall, victorious. In this eternal rivalry, once again, courage and speed triumph over venom and fear. In a small town, there lived a tiny mouse who had a very sweet voice. One day, a rabbit was talking to a cat, telling her that a singing competition was going to be held in the city palace. The little mouse was secretly listening to their conversation. The king had announced this competition on the occasion of his son's birthday. Hearing this, the mouse thought to himself, "I should also sing in this competition." When the prince's birthday finally came, the palace was beautifully decorated. The stage was set, and many singers came to perform. The king sat on his throne beside his son while the entire audience eagerly waited. One after another, the singers performed. Finally, the little mouse nervously walked up to the big stage. Everyone looked surprised. How could such a small creature sing? The mouse closed his eyes and began to sing an old song of his father. His voice was so sweet and emotional that the entire palace went silent. The king's eyes filled with tears and the audience was deeply moved. When the song ended, the hall echoed with loud applause. The king stood up, hugged the little mouse, and gave him the award for the best song of the night. That day, everyone realized a very important lesson. Even the smallest voice can touch the biggest heart.
In an age where magic and time wove together, a tear appeared in the fabric of reality. From the chasm between worlds emerged a beast of ancient fury, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, forged by the raw power of nature itself. Its footsteps shook mountains, and its roar split the skies. But the disturbance awakened another legend, From the highest peaks where clouds kissed the stars, the great fire dragon unfurled its colossal wings. Its scales shimmered like molten gold, and each breath carried the heat of the sun. They met upon the black stone plains, where rivers of lava carved burning scars across the earth. The T-Rex lunged forward, claws tearing stone apart. The dragon ascended, diving through storms of ash, its fire illuminating the night like a second sunrise. With every clash, the land trembled. Fire met fang, sky met earth. The T-Rex's jaws closed inches from the dragon's neck, but the serpent of the skies twisted free and unleashed a storm of flames. The earth glowed under the battle's fury. When the ash settled, the T-Rex lay still, its might undone by the dragon's cunning and flight. The great fire dragon roared triumphantly into the heavens, becoming once more the eternal guardian of realms where time dares not pass.
Long ago, there was a dense jungle where every animal and bird lived in peace. One day, lightning struck a dry tree, and strong winds quickly wrapped half the jungle in flames. Animals ran, birds flew away. But one small bird stopped. It flew to the river, filled its beak with water, and dropped it on the fire. Others laughed and said, "How will you put out this fire?" But the bird replied, "I am doing my part." Inspired by its courage, all the birds began bringing water, and the animals redirected the river's flow toward the burning forest. After working day and night, the fire was finally out. Half the jungle had burned, but the other half was saved. And from that day, everyone learned, if you do your part, together you can put out any sunlight shines through the tall green trees. In the middle of all this, a tiny ant is carrying a grain of wheat on her back. On a big green leaf nearby, a grasshopper lounges lazily, chewing a fresh leaf and playing his violin. He laughs and says to the ant, "Why work so hard? Enjoy the summer, friend." The ant stops, smiles, and replies, "I'm storing food for the winter. When snow falls, there will be nothing to eat. You should start working too." The grasshopper waves his hand lazily. Winter is far away. Let's enjoy the moment. Time passes. The ant works every day under the warm sun, carrying seeds, fruits, and nuts underground. Her storage grows full and safe. The grasshopper, he sings, eats, and naps, without a care in the world. One morning, the forest wakes. The trees are bare, the rivers are frozen, and the air is icy cold. The grasshopper shivers, looking around for food, but everything is gone. Deep underground, the ant sits in her warm little house. Her shelves are full of fruits, seeds, and berries. She enjoys her meal in peace while listening to the wind howl outside. The grasshopper crouches in the snow, freezing and starving. He whispers to himself, "If only I had worked a little during the summer. I'd be warm and full, like the ant. Work hard today, so tomorrow you can live without worry. Laziness brings regret, but hard work brings comfort."
A cheerful young boy bursts into a sunny living room, followed by his cartoonish puppy and fluffy cat. Sunlight beams through the windows, casting a warm glow on toys and books scattered on shelves. Full of energy, the boy tosses a ball. The puppy races after it while the cat leaps onto the furniture. Laughter fills the air as the room starts to turn into a whirlwind of play. Chaos takes over. The trio tumbles through cushions and toys, giggling uncontrollably. The dog skids across the floor, the cat knocks over a stack of books. It's joyful, animated mess. Suddenly, crash. A bouncing toy hits a vase. It shatters. Curtains tumble down. The boy gasps, the cat hides, and the dog barks. The fun stops cold. The front door creaks open. The father walks in from work. He freezes as he sees the chaotic disaster, eyes wide in shock. The boy stands silently, half hiding behind his puppy, nervous. The cat peeks out from under the couch. The mood is tense. The father notices a crayon drawing of their family on the wall. His face softens. He kneels down with a gentle smile. Together, they begin to clean up. The boy picks up toys. The puppy tugs a cushion. The cat bats a pillow playfully. Teamwork. Finally, the whole family, father, boy, puppy, and cat, cuddle together on the couch, glowing in the soft sunset light.
Long ago, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a tyrant king. He imposed heavy taxes on his people and took half of their hard-earned income for himself. The people suffered from hunger and poverty, while the king enjoyed a life of luxury. The king had only one son, a kind-hearted and just prince. The prince felt sorrow whenever he saw his father's cruelty and the suffering of the people. He tried many times to make the king understand, but the king never listened. One day, the prince went to the prime minister and said, "If we stand with the people, this kingdom can prosper." The prime minister, who was also in favor of the people, agreed to support him. Together, they made a plan. The prime minister convinced the leading nobles and the army, and the people also stood beside the prince. Finally, one day, a rebellion broke out in the palace. The tyrant king was overthrown, and the prince ascended the throne. As soon as the prince became king, he abolished the heavy taxes, returned the lands to the people, and arranged free food and health care for the poor. Joy returned to the markets, fields were filled with golden crops, and the streets echoed with the laughter of children. Thus, the reign of a tyrant king came to an end, and under the just rule of the kind-hearted king, the entire kingdom became prosperous.
The family wakes up in a cozy, sunlit living room. Parents smile as the 10-year-old brother and 7-year-old sister run around, laughing and playing. The little sister tugs her brother's sleeve and makes funny faces. He smiles patiently, showing love and tolerance. Sister dashes across the room. The brother chases her slowly, laughing as they run around toys and furniture. The older brother sits on a chair, wiping his forehead, looking exhausted from the playful chaos. The sister pokes and nudges him repeatedly, giggling mischievously as he starts to fall asleep. Sister runs to their mother, pointing at her brother and pouting. Mom gently scolds her for bothering her brother. Sister retreats to her room, sitting on the bed with her favorite toy, teary-eyed but still cute, soft sunlight coming through the window. Older brother peeks into the room, looking concerned and regretful, deciding to make amends. He gently approaches her bed and gives her favorite chocolate, smiling warmly, hands extended. Close-up of the little sister's eyes lighting up, her tears turning into a big happy smile. The siblings hug on the bed, showing love and reconciliation, warm lighting enhancing the emotional moment. They sit together, eating chocolate, laughing and chatting, enjoying the treat and each other's company. The brother and sister play with blocks and dolls, tossing toys and running around the living room happily. Parents watch from the background, smiling proudly as the children play, showing family love and harmony. The camera pans out to show the happy family together in the soft, warm evening glow, ending on a peaceful and joyful note.
Once upon a time, in a forest, there lived a fast hare and a slow tortoise. They were good friends, but the hare often teased the tortoise for being too slow. One day, the tortoise got tired of the teasing and challenged the hare to a race. The hare agreed, thinking it would be an easy win. The race began, and the hare quickly ran far ahead. Seeing the tortoise far behind, the hare decided to take a short nap. The tortoise kept moving slowly and eventually passed the sleeping hare. When the hare woke up, he ran as fast as he could. In the last moment, the hare managed to cross the finish line first. The lesson? Speed is good, but never underestimate your opponent.
Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a poor fisherman who made his living by catching fish from the sea. For many days he went fishing, but returned empty-handed. His home situation grew worse and worse. One day, as usual, he went to the sea but caught nothing. Just as he was about to return, he thought, "Let me cast my net one last time." This time, a beautiful fish with shimmering, colorful scales appeared in his net. As soon as the fisherman tried to catch it, the fish spoke. "Let me go, and I will grant you one wish." The fisherman said, "I wish for a nice house and some money." The fish immediately granted his wish and swam away. When the fisherman returned home, he told his wife the whole story. Her greed grew, and she said, "Tomorrow go back and ask for lots of gold and diamonds." The next day, the fish granted this wish too. But the wife's greed still did not end. She said, "Go and tell the fish I want to become the queen of the sea." The fisherman returned to the fish and told her the wish. The fish smiled and said, "Greed never leads to a good ending." She took away everything she had given and returned the fisherman and his wife to their old, poor life.
Many, many years ago, when there were no humans, no cities, only jungles, mountains, and oceans, there lived a lone dinosaur. His name was Duro. Duro was huge, but his heart was pure and gentle. Every day, he spent his time with the small animals of the jungle, sometimes playing with monkeys, sometimes giving tiny birds a ride on his back. He was the only dinosaur in the world, and he was everyone's friend. One day, Duro dug a nest by the seashore and placed a large egg inside it. Days passed. And one morning, the egg cracked open, and a tiny baby dinosaur emerged, Lino. Duro adopted him as his son, and together they ruled the jungle with kindness and care. Under their protection, the entire jungle was safe. Lino was learning how to become a leader, how to care for everyone. But then, one day, the color of the sky changed. Dark clouds gathered. First came a light drizzle, then a fierce, raging storm. Thunder roared, lightning flashed. The rain poured so heavily that rivers overflowed. The ocean rose, and a massive flood swept across the land. Water spread everywhere. Mountains disappeared beneath it. Jungles drowned. The small animals somehow survived, but despite all their efforts, Duro and Lino could not withstand the flood. The waters carried them away, and thus, the last dinosaurs in the world were gone forever. Even today, when a storm comes and thunder rumbles in the sky, the little animals of the jungle quietly say, "Perhaps Duro, with his Lino, is watching over us from the
In
heavens."
the deep blue ocean lived an intelligent and kind-hearted octopus named Ollie. For many days, Ollie had been worried. The sea was no longer sparkling and clean. Plastic, nets, and waste floated everywhere, and many of his friends were sick or trapped. One morning, Ollie decided, "I can't watch my home suffer anymore. I will clean the sea." He called a big meeting. All the sea creatures came, colorful fish, wise old turtles, tiny crabs, and even shy seahorses. Ollie spoke with determination. "We will work together to save our ocean." He gave each group a different task. Fish would collect small floating trash. Turtles would carry heavy waste to a safe place. Crabs would dig out stuck garbage from the sand. As they worked, Ollie spotted a fish trapped in a fishing net. Without wasting a second, he used his strong arms to tear the net and free her. The rescued fish smiled and joined the cleaning mission. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, the sea became clear again. Sunlight danced on the waves and corals shone with bright colors. The creatures of the ocean swam happily, breathing fresh, clean water. Ollie knew they had not just cleaned the sea, they had saved their home. Moral: when we work together, we can protect our home and keep it beautiful.
In a small village, there lived two twin brothers, both 8 years old and identical in looks. One was extremely naughty. The naughty brother would play pranks every day, breaking a flower pot, spilling water, and whenever their parents asked, he would pretend to be innocent and blame it all on his gentle brother. The poor gentle twin would get scolded for something he never did. The naughty one would hide in a corner and laugh secretly at his brother's sad face. But when his brother started crying, he would feel bad. He would quickly bring out his bicycle and say, "Come on, let's go for a ride." And just like that, the two would laugh and play together again, filling each day with both mischief and love.
Once upon a time, there was a little boy who used to take his goats to the forest every day to graze. At first, he enjoyed it, but after some time, he started getting bored. One day, he thought of playing a trick on the villagers. He ran toward the village and shouted loudly, "Wolf! Wolf! A wolf has come to eat my goats!" The villagers got scared and rushed to help him, but when they arrived, there was no wolf. The boy laughed loudly and said, "Ha ha ha, I was just joking." The next day, he did the same thing again. He shouted, "Wolf! Wolf! Save my goats!" The villagers came running once more, but again, there was no wolf. The boy laughed at them and said he was only joking. But on the third day, a real wolf appeared. The wolf attacked his goats, and the boy screamed in fear, "Wolf! Wolf! Please help me!" This time, the villagers thought he was lying again. No one came to help him. The wolf carried away all of his goats, and the boy sat down crying alone. With tears in his eyes, he said, "I wish I had never lied. If only I had told the truth, my goats would still be alive." From that day onwards, the boy promised never to lie again.
Once upon a time, in the magical moonlight realm, there lived a curious little girl named Lena. One night, Lena saw a strange glow in the forest. When she followed it, she met Ion, the guardian of moonlight.
He told her that the moonlight was fading, and without it, the whole world would fall into darkness. Only someone with a pure heart could save it. To bring back the moonlight, Lena had to find 3 magical crystals: courage, wisdom, and kindness. In the Cave of Shadows, Lena faced her fears and found the crystal of courage. On the Tower of Stars, she solved puzzles to win the crystal of wisdom. In the Meadow of Dreams, her kindness to the creatures helped her find the crystal of kindness. With all 3 crystals, Lena and Ayan restored the moonlight, brighter than ever. Because of her bravery and good heart, Lena became the new guardian of moonlight, protecting the realm forever. It was a young boy's very first day at school. In the morning, his parents helped him get ready. His clothes were neat, shoes shiny, and his school bag was packed. The boy's face was full of excitement. After breakfast, the school bus arrived. As soon as his mom let go of his hand, he began to cry loudly, "I don't want to go!" His mother hugged him gently and said, "Look, all the children are going to school. You'll be fine. Go with them." Slowly, the boy calmed down and got on the bus. The bus took him to school. As he entered the classroom, he made new friends, played happily, listened to stories, and enjoyed poems. The boy spent the whole day full of joy and excitement. When school was over, he returned to his mom and excitedly told her everything that happened. That night, he went to bed thinking about how wonderful school was and eagerly awaited the next day. In a small village, there lived a little boy named Ali. He was innocent and kind-hearted. His best friend was a pigeon that he had raised since childhood. Ali would feed it grains, give it water, and spend his days playing with it. The pigeon also loved Ali dearly. When Ali went to school, the pigeon would wait for him, and when Ali returned home in the evening, the pigeon would sit on his shoulder to show affection. One day, a pigeon flying competition was announced in the village. Everyone encouraged Ali to let his pigeon take part. At first, Ali was nervous, but he trusted his best friend. When the pigeon took flight, everyone was amazed. Ali's pigeon soared higher than all the others and, in the end, returned straight to Ali's shoulder. The villagers congratulated Ali and his pigeon on their victory. Ali realized that the true victory was not just the prize, but the friendship and love he shared with his pigeon. And so, a boy and his pigeon remained the best of friends forever.
In a sunny little town, a mischievous cat named Usui ran a colorful ice cream shop. Every day, kids lined up to taste her creamy cones and rainbow sundaes. But Usui had a funny rule. Whoever danced the best in front of her got a free ice cream. One morning, a shy little boy came to the shop. He watched all the kids trying silly moves, spinning, jumping, even doing funny robot dances. When it was his turn, he gave a small, careful twirl. Usui's eyes sparkled. It was the cutest dance she had ever seen. She giggled and handed him the biggest, most delicious ice cream cone. From that day on, every child knew a little dance at Usui's shop could earn the sweetest treat in town.
Once upon a time, in a quiet village, a little squirrel was playing happily on a tall tree. She was jumping from branch to branch and nibbling crunchy nuts. Suddenly, she slipped and fell to the ground. The poor squirrel hurt her tiny paw and could not move properly. Just then, a sweet little girl was walking by. She saw the squirrel trembling in pain. At first, the girl was a little scared to go near, but when she noticed the poor animal was injured, her heart filled with kindness. She gently picked up the squirrel in her small hands and took her home. The girl carefully tied a little bandage on the squirrel's paw and fed her nuts and water every day. She even let the squirrel sleep beside her on the bed. Slowly, the squirrel began to heal, and the girl loved taking care of her new little friend. After some days, when the squirrel was completely better, the girl took her back to the tree and set her free. The squirrel happily ran up the branches, but the bond between them was too strong to break. The very next day, as the girl was lying on her bed, the squirrel jumped through the window and sat beside her. The girl's eyes shone with joy. From that day on, the squirrel never truly left her side. They became the best of friends, sharing love, laughter, and little adventures together.
In a famous city park, there lived a sweet little dolphin in a big swimming pool. Every day, families and children came to see her. Kids laughed, parents clapped, and the dolphin performed amazing tricks with her trainer girl. She would jump high, swim through rings, and even dance in the water with her trainer. Each performance filled the place with joy and cheers. The dolphin loved all of it. But most of all, she loved playing and dancing with her trainer. Together, they were the heart of the park, the magic everyone came to see. Days passed happily like this, until one day, sad news spread. In another park, a dolphin had accidentally injured her trainer and the trainer died. This heartbreaking news spread across the world like wildfire. Suddenly, everything changed. People grew scared. They stopped coming to dolphin shows. The seats stayed empty, the clapping faded away, and the once happy dolphin was left all alone. She swam in circles, her eyes filled with sadness, looking at her trainer as if asking, "Why should we all suffer for the mistake of one dolphin? Have people forgotten that we only want to bring happiness?" Her heart felt heavy with loneliness. She waited and hoped for the day when children's laughter would once again fill the park, families would clap with joy, and she could once again perform her tricks to bring smiles to everyone's faces. All she had left was hope. Hope that one day humans would understand that dolphins are made for love, play, and friendship.
In a small village, there lived a boy named Aryan. Aryan always dreamed of having something magical that could change his life. One night, he went to an old shop in the market and saw a shining old candle. The shopkeeper told him, "This is not an ordinary candle. When you light it, its smoke will grant you one wish. But remember, every wish has a price." Excited, Aryan took the candle home. The first time he lit the candle, he wished for lots of gold. The next day, his house was filled with gold. But his little friend, who used to play with him, drifted away because Aryan was too busy with his wealth. The second time, Aryan wished that everyone would like him. Soon, the whole village praised him, but his true friends left him because he had forgotten who he really was. Finally, he lit the candle one last time and realized that true happiness lies in friendship and love, not in gold or fame. This time he wished, "I want to be the old Aryan again, the one who was happy with his friends and family." The candle went out, and a smile appeared on Aryan's face. From that day on, he learned that the greatest magic always lies within the
There was
heart.
a small village at the edge of the forest, where every morning the sunlight would light up everything beautifully. In that village lived two young children, Ali and Sarah. Both were very playful but had kind hearts. One day, Ali and Sarah were playing in the open field near the forest. Sometimes they drew lines in the dirt. Sometimes they built little houses out of stones. Everything felt like a new adventure to them. Suddenly, a beautiful butterfly came fluttering through the air, circling around them. Its wings were glowing with shiny shades of blue, pink, and yellow, as if someone had stolen the colors of the sky and painted them on its wings. Sarah said, "Ali, look, what a lovely butterfly. Can you catch it?" Ali laughed and replied, "I sure can." Ali gently reached out his hand and caught the butterfly. Now it was trapped in his fist, fluttering hard. Its tiny body trembled with fear. Sarah said, "Ali, let it go. Maybe it will come back as our friend." Ali slowly opened his fingers, and the butterfly flew up into the sky. Its wings sparkled in the sunlight, as if it was smiling in joy. The butterfly hovered around them for a moment, then with a soft fluttering sound, disappeared into the depths of the forest. Ali and Sarah began to laugh. They felt like they had truly done something
In
good.
a deep jungle, there lived a big elephant and a tall giraffe. They often saw each other, but never really talked. One day, a sudden fire broke out in the forest. All the animals panicked and started running. The giraffe, with her long neck, could see far ahead. She shouted, "This way is safe!" But the little animals couldn't run fast. Some even got stuck in the smoke. That's when the elephant used his strong back and powerful trunk. He lifted the small animals onto his back and carried them to safety. In the end, all the animals were saved. Everyone thanked the giraffe for her vision and the elephant for his strength. The elephant said, "Without you, I couldn't have found the way." And the giraffe replied, "Without you, I couldn't have saved everyone." From that day on, the elephant and the giraffe became best friends. They realized that everyone has their own unique strength, and when we work together, even the toughest challenges become easy. There was a sweet little girl who had a very beautiful cat. She loved her cat dearly. Every day, she took care of her, feeding her on time, giving her water, bathing her, and playing with her. The cat was her best friend. One day, the girl went to school. While she was away, the cat slipped out of the house and got lost. When the girl returned home, her cat was nowhere to be found. She started crying bitterly and even refused to eat her dinner. Her parents searched the whole neighborhood and streets, but could not find the cat. By evening, they came back home, tired and hopeless. The girl was still crying. Her parents said, "Don't worry, dear. We will get you a new cat." But the girl shook her head and replied, "I don't want a new cat. I only want mine." Just then, they heard a sound at the door. When they opened it, there was her cat, safe and back home. The girl hugged her tightly with joy, and everyone in the house was happy again. From that day, they all understood that true love always finds its way back. One quiet night in the forest, a small rabbit was feeling very hungry. He saw a big, juicy carrot growing in his neighbor's garden. Without thinking much, he hopped over the fence, pulled out the carrot, and quickly took it home. The next morning, his neighbor rabbit went out to the garden and saw that his carrot was gone. He looked around sadly and said, "I was saving that carrot for my family. Now we have nothing to eat today." Hearing this, the little rabbit felt a heavy weight in his heart. At first, he enjoyed eating the carrot, but soon he started feeling guilty. He realized that by taking something that was not his, he had hurt someone else. That evening, he carried the half-eaten carrot back to his neighbor and said with a soft voice, "I'm sorry. I was wrong to take your carrot without asking. Please forgive me." The neighbor smiled kindly and said, "I forgive you. Next time, if you are hungry, just ask. We can share." From that day on, the little rabbit promised never to steal again. He learned that honesty, kindness, and sharing bring more happiness than taking things secretly.
जंगल की शरारत। सुबह की पहली किरणें पत्तों से छनकर नीचे आ रही हैं, परिंदे चहचहा रही हैं। पोको बांस के दरख्त के नीचे पुरसुकून नींद में खराटे ले रहा है। ऊपर से एक चंचल सा बंदर, मोमो, बेलों पर झूलता हुआ आता है। वो हवा में कलाबाजियां खाता है और अचानक पोको के ऊपर आकर रुक जाता है, हंसता है, "उठ जा सोने वाले।" पोको मोमो उसे देखकर गुस्से में। मोमो एक बेल पर जोश से झूलता है। वो हवा में उड़ता हुआ मजाहिया अंदाज में घबराहट के चेहरे के साथ एक रुकावट से टकराकर बेहोश होकर गिर जाता है। मोमो कांटों से भरी झाड़ी में फंस चुका है। वो मदद पुकार रहा है। दूर से पोको आहिस्ता आहिस्ता पुरसुकून अंदाज में नर्म मुस्कुराहट के साथ उसकी तरफ बढ़ता है। पोको आहिस्ता आहिस्ता झाड़ी के कांटे हटाता है, बेले खोलता है। ओह! फिर उसके चेहरे पर मुस्कुराहट फैल जाती है।
In an ancient city, people lived peacefully. Near the city stood two mountains. One was the mountain of ice, and the other was a fiery volcano. From the mountain of ice lived the blue water dragon, Aqualus, a friend of the people. He protected them, bringing rain and water to their lands. Inside the volcano lived the red fire dragon, Ignarok, who always wanted to burn and destroy the city. Aqualus, the blue water dragon, a friend of the people, water. Ignarok, the red fire dragon, who wanted to burn everything, fire. One day, Ignarok attacked the city. People were terrified. Aqualus flew down from the sky and used his water to fight the flames. A great battle began, fire versus water. The sky lit up with light, smoke, and roaring sounds. A brave girl climbed onto Aqualus's back. With her magic staff, she gave him extra strength. Aqualus summoned a giant wave of water that extinguished Ignarok's fire. Defeated, Ignarok fled, and the city was saved. The people cheered for Aqualus and the girl, calling them true heroes. Moral: goodness and unity can defeat even the strongest evil. One day, a little deer named Rafi got injured while escaping from a predator in the jungle. In pain, he ran far away from the forest and ended up near a village. A kind family living there saw him. The children gently picked him up, and their parents took care of his wounds. Day by day, Rafi grew stronger with their love, fresh grass, and milk. When Rafi was fully healed, the family knew it was time for him to return to his true home, the jungle. With heavy hearts, they released him back into the wild. Rafi looked back for a moment, then ran happily to join his herd. From that day on, Rafi always remembered the kindness of humans alongside the safety of his jungle home. In a faraway desert, a man traveled with his camel, Shabazz. Days passed with no food or water in sight. The scorching heat weakened the man until he was about to collapse from hunger and thirst. Seeing his master's suffering, Shabazz gathered his strength. He searched the endless sands and finally found a hidden oasis with fresh water and date palms. Carrying his master on his back, he brought him safely to the oasis. The man drank, ate, and survived, all thanks to his loyal camel. With tears in his eyes, he realized Shabazz was not just his camel, but his true savior and lifelong friend. Palm tree, star, sparkle.
Once upon a time in the jungle, there lived a beautiful cat named Fluffy. She was sweet, fluffy, and loved by everyone. One day, news spread all over the jungle. Fluffy is getting married. All the animals were super excited, but Fluffy thought to herself, "Oh no, I must look the most beautiful on my wedding day." So, the day before the wedding, Fluffy went to the beauty parlor. She got her fur brushed, her makeup done, and even had her tail styled like a royal queen. When she looked in the mirror, she purred happily, "Meow, I look fabulous." On the wedding day, the jungle was full of fun. The monkeys played drums, the parrots sang songs, and the deer decorated the place with flowers. Finally, Fluffy walked in with her groom, looking just like a princess. All the animals clapped and cheered loudly. Hooray for Fluffy! And so, the wedding of Fluffy the cat became the most magical and unforgettable wedding in the jungle. In a big green jungle, there lived a cute brown bear named Bobo. Bobo loved honey more than anything in the world. Every day, he would search for beehives, climb trees,
and eat all the honey he could find. He ate and ate until he became very fat and slow. He didn't even play with his friends anymore. The bees in the jungle were very angry. "Bobo is stealing all our honey," they buzzed. One day, Bobo tried to take honey from a giant beehive. But this time, the bees had had enough. They all came out, buzz, and chased Bobo through the jungle. Bobo ran and ran, but he was too slow. The bees gave him a good sting on his backside. "Ouch! I'm sorry. I won't take too much honey again," cried Bobo. From that day, Bobo learned to take only a little honey and leave the rest for the bees. He started running and playing again and slowly became healthy and happy. Moral: too much of anything is bad. Share, don't be greedy. In a deep green jungle, a happy chimpanzee lived with his friends. One day, he suddenly fell sick and became very weak. The animals of the jungle got worried and decided to take him to the city where doctors could treat him. In the city hospital, the doctors gave him medicines and care. At first, he seemed to get better, but soon, the loud noise of traffic, smoke, and crowds made him more sick and sad. The chimpanzee missed his jungle, his friends, and the fresh air. The doctors understood that the city was not the right place for him, so they sent him back to the jungle. As soon as he returned, he climbed trees, breathed the fresh air, and met his animal friends. Slowly, his health came back, and he was full of joy again. Moral: every creature belongs to its own home, and true happiness lies where you feel free and loved.
Hana was a beautiful girl studying at a university. Her classmate Uzi liked her deeply. Every day, he couldn't stop looking at her in class and would often follow her around campus. But Hana, a bit proud and reserved, never really paid him much attention. One rainy afternoon, as the university was about to close, Hana stood in the parking lot waiting to head home. Uzi was also leaving. As Hana walked toward her car, her foot slipped on the wet ground. Before she could fall, Uzi, who was just behind her, caught her in his arms. Their eyes met, a long, silent gaze. In that moment, something changed in Hana's heart. She began to see Uzi in a different light. From that day on, they started meeting at the university cafe, sharing coffee, laughter, and stories. And so, with the rain as their witness, their love quietly bloomed.
Once upon a time, ants and bees lived in the same forest. The ants were strong and ruled the ground, while the bees were fast and ruled the sky. One summer, ants marched to the beehive to take honey. The bees got angry, and a great battle began. Ants climbing trees, bees attacking from the air, the whole forest shaking with war. Then, a wise butterfly came and said, "Why fight? Work together and share." The ant king and bee queen agreed. From that day, ants protected the hive on land and bees shared their honey. One cold night in the forest, a hungry pack of wolves surrounded a porcupine and its tiny baby. The wolves growled, ready to attack. The mother porcupine stood firm. She spread her sharp quills and faced the pack with courage. Every time the wolves tried to come closer, she charged and pricked them with her spines. The wolves howled in pain and finally gave up, running back into the darkness. The baby porcupine cuddled safely under its mother. The forest echoed with the lesson.
Even the smallest can be the bravest when it comes to protecting loved ones.
In the deep ocean lived a story of friendship and bravery. A playful dolphin was swimming happily when suddenly a swarm of poisonous jellyfish surrounded it. The dolphin tried to escape, but the jellyfish blocked its way. Just then, two clever and brave sea otters appeared. They worked together. Some otters created bubbles around the dolphin to push the jellyfish back, while others used their quick moves to drive them away. Finally, the dolphin was free. It leaped joyfully from the water, thanking the otters for saving its life. All the sea creatures learned that when we work together, no challenge is too big to overcome.
In a quiet forest where moonlight painted silver paths lived an old owl named Oron. Unlike other birds, Oron never slept at night. He watched, listened, and remembered everything. One night, the forest animals gathered in fear. The river that gave them water had suddenly dried up. Without it, they would soon starve in thirst. The younger animals panicked, but Oron, calm as ever, closed his glowing eyes. "I have seen the river's secret," he said softly. "Follow me." Guided by the owl's wisdom, the animals walked under the moonlight. Oron led them through twisted roots, across rocky cliffs, until they reached a hidden cave. Inside, they found boulders blocking the river's path. The animals pushed together, rolling the stones aside. Soon, the river rushed free, sparkling under the moon. Cheers filled the forest, but all eyes turned to Oron. The wise owl simply spread his wings and whispered, "Knowledge is not power until shared." From that night on, the animals respected the quiet watcher of the forest, for his wisdom had saved them all. And whenever the moon shone bright, they listened to Oron's gentle hoots, carrying secrets of the night. On the edge of the sea, a young boy lived with his parents in a bamboo forest. One day, while chasing a butterfly near the cliffs, he slipped and fell into the waves below. Everyone panicked, but his mother stopped his father from jumping in. The boy, she believed, was born with the gift of water. The boy drifted through hidden streams and, beneath the waves, met a giant sea turtle. Their eyes met, and without words, a friendship was formed, pure and timeless. The turtle became his silent guardian. Years later, the sea grew restless. A monstrous tsunami roared toward the shore, swallowing the bamboo forest in seconds. The boy barely survived. His mother was injured, and his father was lost. With tears in his eyes, he called upon his turtle friend. Together, they searched the raging waters until they found his father clinging to debris. The family was reunited, and the boy knew the sea had tested him, but the bond with his turtle friend had saved them all. In the middle of a jungle, all animals lived happily, but secretly wished for one thing: to ride in an airplane. One day, a shiny airplane appeared in the jungle. The animals gathered around, wondering who would fly it. The lion, king of the jungle, stepped forward proudly and said, "I will be the pilot and take all my friends on a journey through the skies." Excited, every animal, birds, rabbits, elephants, deer, monkeys, and even turtles rushed inside and found seats by the windows. The lion wore his pilot's cap, pressed a button, and the airplane roared to life. Vroom! Soon, it lifted into the air. The animals clapped and cheered with joy. Birds sang, "This is the first time we're seeing the jungle from above." Monkeys laughed and danced, deer jumped happily, and the elephant trumpeted, "This is the best day ever."
The airplane flew over mountains, rivers, and lakes, showing the animals a world they had never seen before. After the ride, the lion safely landed the plane back in the jungle. All the animals cheered. "Lion brother, you made our dream come true." From then on, the lion's airplane became the jungle's pride and joy. In a dense forest, a little innocent fawn was playing all alone. Suddenly, a cunning wolf approached him and said in a gentle voice, "Little fawn, you're all alone. Why don't I take you to the lake? There's plenty of delicious grass there." The fawn was innocent and trusted the wolf. He started walking with him. Along the way, a wise bird, a nightingale, was watching them from a tree. She cried out loudly, "Little fawn, be careful. This wolf is trying to deceive you." Startled, the fawn immediately stepped back. Realizing the danger, he ran as fast as he could back to his mother. The wolf, angry that his trick had failed, stood there grinding his teeth in frustration. Moral: never trust strangers blindly. Sometimes danger hides behind a friendly face.
Village located between a jungle and the sea. A little girl lived there with her parents. She loved the seashore because a cute, playful baby dolphin lived there. Every day, the girl would visit the shore to feed her dolphin friend, play with him, and talk to him. Days passed, and their friendship grew stronger. One day, a big storm hit the sea. The strong winds and huge waves swept the baby dolphin away into the deep sea. The girl was very sad and started visiting the shore every day, waiting for her friend. Time went by, but the dolphin didn't come back. The girl's father tried to comfort her, saying, "Maybe he won't return. We should go home." But the girl never lost hope. After many days, while the girl was sitting sadly at the shore, suddenly the same baby dolphin jumped out of the water. The girl's joy knew no bounds. The dolphin let her ride on his back, and they went for a beautiful swim across the sea. The girl's father came too, and they were all very happy. From that day on, the girl visited her friend every day at the shore, and their friendship lasted forever. In a vast and beautiful kingdom surrounded by tall mountains, crystal clear rivers, and green meadows, lived a young and curious prince. One day, he decided to explore his land alone. Riding his majestic white horse, he wandered through valleys and rivers, enjoying the beauty of his kingdom. While passing by a sparkling river, the prince's eyes caught sight of a beautiful young woman. She had big, bright eyes, long flowing hair, and a gentle smile. She sat by the riverbank, tossing food to the fish, which playfully gathered around her. The sight mesmerized the prince. He learned that she was the daughter of a poor farmer, living in a small hut near the river. From that day on, the prince visited the river daily, secretly watching her from a distance. One day, the farmer caught the prince watching his daughter. Surprised, he asked who he was and why he kept coming. The prince revealed his identity and confessed his love for the girl, saying he wanted to marry her. The farmer replied that he must first seek permission from the king. The prince returned to the palace and told his father, the king, everything. Seeing his son's honesty and love, the king gave his blessing. Soon the palace was filled with wedding celebrations. The farmer's daughter became the princess, moving into the grand palace. From then on, the prince and his new princess lived happily together, and their love story became a legend in the kingdom. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a young prince. One day he fell in love with a beautiful fairy, but their happiness didn't last long. A jealous jinn saw the fairy and became enchanted by her beauty. Consumed with desire, the jinn captured the fairy and hid her deep inside a dark cave, far from the kingdom. The prince was heartbroken when he discovered that the fairy was missing. Day after day, he searched for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Desperate, he announced to his soldiers and people, "Whoever finds the fairy will be rewarded greatly." Yet, he could not sit idle. He too set out on a dangerous journey to find her. After many days of traveling across forests, mountains, and rivers, the prince finally came across a hidden cave. Outside, the jinn lay asleep, guarding the entrance. The prince carefully crept past him and entered the cave. Inside, he found the fairy, weak but safe. Quietly, he freed her from her chains and led her out without waking the jinn. They returned to the royal palace, where the fairy was cared for until she regained her strength. From then on, the prince and the fairy lived peacefully, their bond stronger than ever, grateful that love and courage had brought them back together.
The Drowned Song. Far below the sunlit waves, past the reach of light, there was a place sailors called the Black Trench. Few dared to sail above it, for strange singing was said to rise from its depths at night. One stormy evening, a fishing boat drifted too far. Through the roar of wind and waves, the crew heard it, a haunting, beautiful voice echoing from beneath the sea. The melody was so sweet it pulled them to the edge of the deck, peering into the darkness below. From the shadows, she emerged. The mermaid. Her hair floated like seaweed, eyes glowing faintly in the black water. Her beauty was unearthly, but her smile was wrong. When she sang again, the sea seemed to tremble. One by one, the men leaned over, entranced until they slipped silently into the water. Down in the deep, the light faded completely. The mermaid's beauty dissolved into pale, bloated skin, her mouth stretching open to reveal rows of jagged, shark-like teeth. She circled her prey slowly, her lullaby turning into a rasping hiss. By morning, the boat was found adrift, empty, except for damp footprints leading to the edge, and the faint echo of a song still humming from the sea.